Welcome to Tales from the Switch Vault, where I, Jim, look back at some of the weird and wonderful games from the Nintendo Switch. This time I sink one into a little golf journey. Released originally on PC in June 2020, the game got a launch on Nintendo Switch in October 2021. The fifth game from Okie Dokie Co. and published by Platonic Games brought the puzzle title out against a plethora of golfing competition on Switch. The game is broken up into bite-sized diorama-style levels. Instead of the typical golf scoring, the player earns stars from the amount of shots used on a hole, with the fewer the better. The opening levels expertly introduce the mechanics, allowing the player to quickly build up how to play and get right into things. Interestingly, there's no power bar. In fact, there's no player or club either. You are the ball, and can aim it wherever the hell you want with a short, a long, and a putting shot. To give the game more of a challenge, the landing marker actually moves, but can be held in place briefly to gain greater accuracy. This works great, and I'm a big fan of the putting. Most golf games overthink it, but in this it's a simple line you move for direction and length of shot. Within the levels, it's just a case of getting the ball into the hole, but there are many secrets and levels to find. It's not really explained, but you eventually stumble into something weird, causing you to explore older levels and the wider world map. Levels are short and sweet. It's a hell of a snackable game. Visually, it's quite a striking looking release, really angular with its topography and plant life. I like it, it's cute. A really cool feature is the free move, which has you diving around the level looking for a way to pick through. This really aids the puzzle solving. The world has multiple biomes, with the last couple in particular impressing. Once you've been to the moon, it's only left to dive into the cyberspace. Great stuff for golfing. The levels themselves are on a big square with a ton of empty space around them, which initially looks out of place, but when you're actually in a level and lining up shots, you instantly forget this. During my research, you can actually see how this was built up on an older game, OK Golf, which was on mobile. Doing this is really commendable. That game had a more traditional round of golf formula, and taking it in a more puzzly direction was a great move. Also, shout out to the reverse view button, absolute game changer when you're trying to take some tricky shots through the mountains. The music's quite ethereal, it changes within each level but particularly stands out in the later stages. It's a gentle soundtrack that gives you a sense of the world they are putting you in. I really like the early game piano accompaniment too, just pleasant tunes while you stick your tongue out to focus on a shot. Most importantly, it has an incredibly satisfying thwack when the ball is hit. Actually, all the sounds are good, whether the ball's dropping onto the green or sinking into the hole. Having the focus button cause the music and sounds to muffle and help you focus is a nice touch too. The real hook here is actually once you find your feet in the game and seeing what they are doing with the course design. Generally, there's a clear route through to go, however the sneaky devs always put some form of opening or tiny island to cut through it quicker. Figuring out how to solve these shortcuts completely changes how you see the game and makes going back to older levels really rewarding. Weirdly, this is something I've always wanted. I'm always trying ridiculous shots in Wii Sports Golf to little effect. There are a couple of holes you can actually do that as shown on speedruns of that game, whereas here it's blended into every level. It actually improves you as a player, encouraging risky shots and using the swaying long shot to gain a bit further on your drive. It is rather brilliant. How this game stands out to other golf titles is that precision in the shots you make. There's no power bar and it's a refreshing take. It's more precision and puzzle than outright power. That is basically a given with a button press. Finding the right angles and getting a good bounce of a mountain is far more important. The power bar is a long-time staple, and rightly so. It gives another layer of complexity and reflects real-life golf. A little golf journey strips that out and makes for a wonderful golf puzzle game instead. Though a simple premise, there is plenty of content here with a ton of levels to get through. Within those levels, there are a bunch of hidden secrets for you to discover. Add in the golden flag for completing levels with all the stars, you get a lot for the price. It's a tight little game that does as you expect, no more than that. There's no DLC, but it's a full package nonetheless. Okie Dokie Co. had several other releases, though mainly on mobile. As ever, I love to see a company building on their older games, OK Golf, and turning it into a little golf journey. That was a successful little mobile title that they wanted to bring across to PC and eventually Switch. It's a great fit on Switch, and it's fantastic in handheld mode. Other titles released include Soccer Rebel and Super Boost Monkey. Intriguingly, they have a stay-tuned image on their website with a monochrome war tank pushing through a door as their next game. A Little Golf Journey has not won any awards that I can see, but an 80 on Metacritic for the Switch version is really impressive. That's a great game, and although they have not reinvented the wheel, it has taken golf in a different direction, which I really appreciate. It's no golf story, but it was never trying to be that game. In fact, this title is far more accessible, without you getting bogged down playing badly across 9 difficult holes, is a testament to how fun and snappy this game is to play. I really like this. I got a solid 6 hours out of it, and it was so snackable, perfect to dip in and out of. I do like the direction where it's more akin to real courses than crazy golf, it's really nice. However, I do have a few nitpicks. So once you see the formula in the early game, that's it. They mess around with the physics later, but broadly it's the same all the way through. There's only so many ideas you can come up with. There's also some kind of story told through letters, which I completely forgot was even here. It's pretty throwaway. Anyway, I love that even on the Switch it's pretty quick. When you inevitably fuck up a shot, it's such a quick restart and levels can be beaten in under a minute. It's all very satisfying, particularly that elusive hole-in-one. Now, I just need to go and hit all the boats.